In this lesson, we're going to be making the swivel base. So one of the first things you need to do is open up the document and notice that it's in millimeters. So AutoCAD, my version anyway, is in imperial. So what I need to do is go in and open it up and type in startup in the command line below, and then press enter. And what I need to do is make sure that I press type 1 and then hit enter, and then what I need to do is close AutoCAD and restart it. Now, if this is your home computer or some of your work environments, you'll already have this startup menu every time, but make sure that it's there and then go ahead and select metric. If you don't, it's nearly impossible to change the drawing. It just doesn't work. All right, so I see there's a lot of concentric circles here. So, and then there's these shape around that. So what I'm going to do is always find my 0, 0. And so I'm going to go ahead and start making a circle. And I generally go from left to right because on the X coordinate, it starts at 0 and goes to the right. So I'll go ahead and type in 0, 0. And I've got my circle diameter. I start smaller to larger. And the smallest circle here at my 0, 0 is 20. So I'll go ahead and type in 20. And then press enter, and then I'll rescale this, and there's multitude of ways of doing this, but let's get our top. And then I'll do the same procedure, and I'll type in 0, 0 as my center, and the next circle is at 30. So I'll go ahead and type in 30, and that's in millimeters. Press enter. Again, I want to rescale this. Now then go ahead and I'm going to do the next one, however, is a radius. If it's not a full circle in the drawing, it's always going to be a radius. Obviously, radius is half of a diameter, so in this case, I'll do radius and type in 30. And push enter and rescale this. Okay, so I've got the 3 circles on my left. Now I have to make them on the right. You notice, though, at 48 inches over and at 96, on the X, it's always going to be that dimension, but the Y is going to remain at 0. So I'll go ahead and go with my next one. I'll type in 0. Let's see what I'm going to do here. This one's going to be the 48. So I'll type in 48, 0. Press enter. And this is the smaller circle at 10 diameter. Type in 10. Press enter. And then I'll do another one here. And this one will be at 96. On the x-axis to the right. So 96, 0, and press enter, and then this diameter is 20. So I'll type in 20 and press enter, and then I want to rescale all this on the cube here, hit the top. All right, so I've got the circles here, but while I'm here, let's go ahead and make this other circle. So I'll go ahead and type in, I could snap it there, but it's always best to type it in whenever you can. Circle radius. And then it's going to be on the X at 96, and the 0 at the Y at 0. And then the radius here is 20. All right, so don't worry about the trims yet. I'm going to show you a couple different ways you could do it. On the second lesson of the swivel base, we're going to be completing the part. So take a look at your part here, and you're going to notice that we have all these circles made, but we're going to have to figure out how to join these. So first thing we're going to do is put a dimension in here, and this dimension is for the radius of 30. You'll notice that it is not the way that it is in the drawing. So we're going to dimension style and go ahead and hit set current first and then modify. And this little window here will actually show you what's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and on the vertical centered, and then I want it horizontal, and then on the fit, I'm going to turn off draw the line between extension lines. All right, and so when I push close, it'll automatically update that. Second thing I need to do is on the snap settings, I need to change the way that these lines work. So I make sure I don't want that snap setting. Polar is set. I always have the object snap, but also turn on the object snap tracking. And I'm going to have the extension and the perpendicular and the tangent. Really important you have these done in order to do this. So I'll show you how this works. What I'm going to do essentially is going to be to make these tangent lines work. So let's go ahead and finish dimensioning this right now. And let's go ahead and put our diameter here. So on the smaller circles, complete circles it's always going to be done in a diameter. And on the half circles or quarter circles or what have you, it's going to be a radius. So let's go ahead. You can always push enter after you do it. It'll automatically pull it up. I do this in my videos this way just to make sure you see it and you don't know when I'm actually hitting my enter key. But after you do a command and you push enter, it'll do the same command the next time around too. So again, I am dimensioning this, confirming it, but I'm also toggling back and forth with my my drawing. All right, so want to verify the dimensions, but also make the dimensions. So another dimension here, this is a diameter of 10. We'll do the center one in here, which I need to confirm is 20. Again, this helps you because if it is not right and you start building it, you're going to be wasting a lot of time. So confirm everything, all your dimensions before you move on. And then this outer one should be a radius, and that should be a radius of 20. Again, I'm trying to lay it out in a manner that is similar to my textbook. Okay, so now the fun begins here. So what I need to do is make these extension lines. You notice it's tangent, it's at the top, and then it's got this weird 15 millimeter radius, and how do you do all that? So first thing you're going to do, a lot of different ways to do this, just to show you the easiest way to do here. I'll start at my 0, 0, and I'll point my mouse up, and I'm going to snap it. Now that I have all these snaps on there, and I'm going to snap at the top of the circle, and then I'm simply going to move my mouse to the right. Now, I'm going to fix this in a second. This actually should be at 60 millimeter, but I'll move it out to the right just to show you how this works. I'll do the other circle. So I don't need that. That's more of a working line. So let's go ahead and do the circle that's coming from right to left, that line. So I'll go up from the start, hit the top of the circle, and then move my mouse to the left. And they're just going to overlap a little bit. Hit escape, and you'll see what's going on here. So far. All right, so now I need to put this little circle in here. Now, how do I make this work? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and work with what I know. I have a circle, and it's a radius. I'll click the center, and I should type in 15. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to move this. And because I have all my snap indicators done, I'll hit move, select the circle, and then I'm going to go to the bottom of this and just put it on the line anywhere. It's right here. It's going to be on the line. Make sure it's on the line. And this is tangent, right? So this is at the bottom of the circle. And now all I need to do is type and move. You might want to play around with this a little bit, but you'll notice here. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I have this done here. I'm going to make this line 60 millimeters. So type in 60, push enter, and I'll delete the that first line that I made. We don't need that. So the larger line is gone. Now, so what I'm going to do is I need to move that over so it touches the line. And so what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and confirm the dimension of this, 60. That's accurate. And so I will type in the magic words move. All right, type in move, push enter, select a circle. And so it takes a couple tries of this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to type in move, and then I'm going to I'm not going to click, but I'm going to go to where I want to take it, grab the circle and move it over. This will take you a couple tries, so don't mind if you have to stop and redo this a couple times. What I did is I typed in move, I selected the circle, and I snapped where I wanted to take it. Actually, I hovered over it, and then I moved it over. All right, now what I'll do is trim this. So I type trim, and I get rid of what I don't want. Important that I do select here. Obviously, I can't trim that because it's only got one point, but I can delete that line. So let's go ahead and, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in mirror. You'll see the mirror icon on the top. So I'll select what I want to mirror, which is essentially these three lines. Push enter. I want to select a circle anywhere on this part, any zero, type in 0, 0, and then I'm going to snap this to the center. And let's see, you want to make sure that it's going to ask us, do you want to delete? We want to say no, we don't want to delete that. So here we go. So erase it. No, I don't want to erase the original one. All right, so now you can see this part is coming together. And I'm going to trim this and make it look like it is on the finished drawing. So go ahead and trim what you don't need. And once you do that, hit escape and you have completed the second lesson. Alright, so what I need to do is dimension this and then essentially change the line weight. So you'll notice though on these drawings that you generally have a space where the from the center, and you want to try to keep that space there. It gets a little confusing on drawings if you don't know where the lines end and where they start, so you always have a space between the part and the dimensions. So you want to maintain that, and sometimes it's a little challenging in AutoCAD, so I'll just zoom out with my mouse. I'll scroll out and then I can drag it straight down and then come back up with it. So that's what I'm doing here on the dimension for the 60 millimeters. And I don't need the one on the top. We did that as our construction tool. And so what I'm going to do is finish dimensioning this, and I'm actually going from the where the center mark is. And so I'm also verifying, of course, the dimensions before I submit the drawing, make sure everything's okay. And when you are drawing parts, you generally dimension from the center, and you can notice that one's off there, so let's just do that again real quick. That's why it's always best if you can type in the coordinate rather than snap. The snap tool is much more convenient, but sometimes it can get a little sloppy, so you got to be careful. And then I can always go back in and drag the line down and verify the dimensions, and so I've got that gap. Alright, so that looks good. So let's get the, we need the radius here, which should be 15, and I can put it in there. Again, I changed my dimension settings so that it would represent and mirror what my textbook is. All right. So let's go ahead and change the line weight. So I'll select all the line weight, all the lines, and not the dimensions, because it would actually change the dimensions if I wasn't careful. All right, and then I right click, or I go up to the modify, hit the properties, and then what we want to do is change it on the line weight, the properties, come down at 50.5 millimeters, and then you can want to show that on the bottom bar. Make sure that's there. If I miss anything, if you miss anything, go back and fix it. All right. Now I also notice I have a center line I need to add here. So hit escape. I generally don't like to have that properties menu around, but let's go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the center. I'm not going to click it. I'm just going to hover over it, then move my mouse to the left, and then come all the way to the right. And this is going to be my center line, indicating that it's symmetrical, meaning the top and the bottom are the same. That's why I was able to mirror it in the previous lesson. All right, so get all the lines I need in there, but I do need to change that center line. So what I'll do is I'll select the line, but I have to load it up, because if I would click it right now, right click and hit properties, and I go to the line style or the line type, it's actually not loaded. And so now if this is your own version, sometimes it'll stay there every time you do it, but to get it, I'll go ahead to my format and I'll select line type, and I'll have to load it, and you can play around. There's a couple different centers. It really depends on the scale of your drawing. Make sure it's there, and now when I go in and select my line, it should be there. So I'll select the center line, and I'll make that change. Make sure you do that, and I hit escape, and I've finished the Swivel Base drawing. Put your name, title it, and you are done.